CancerChaser has seemingly become a pariah on the internet because of his persistent and despicable actions that have been documented by Will Arton's Club. Exposed as CancerChaser's horrible actions such as manipulation, harassment, bullying, projection, and worst of all, attempting to interfere with a work schedule for his own selfish sexual pleasure at the cost of his victims' money and job opportunity. Will Arton's Club has extensively detailed the horrific actions CC has done, and I have brought them to video form. I also have stated my opinions on his horrible actions as well as my perspective of the story. Link will be in the description and end screen. This video will provide a spotlight for other voices that speak out against CancerChaser and his heinous, atrocious actions. Starting with the posts on Tumblr. CancerChaser in a nutshell.
Okay, what the fuck is this shit? Seriously? First of all, calling someone is trying to contact. Second, then what did you use to evade the number? Third, what are you going to tell the cops that you want the person you are harassing to get arrested? Last, you fucking high. He sent your ass tons of emails you could not yourself, but you could not play a video game with him for more than 5 minutes. CancerChaser equals you are the epitome of garbage.
An open letter to CancerChaser. I have been putting off for a while. Ever since Will Arton's Club posted about a man he called CancerChaser, I thought whether or not I should post about this gay man. Initially, I thought it was a post about bad experiences with a gay person, not much else. That was until Chapter 5, where CancerChaser started becoming parasitic and used Will Arton's Club for something he could not do himself, only to not return the favor. That just started making me have strong negative feelings for a while. And then he went and tried to prevent the other person's job for his own pleasure, just made feel shocked and appalled. Finally, his harassment was so sickening, by even claiming how good he was and that nothing he received made him happy. That made me feel very insulted. This CancerChaser man truly made me just angry, as if I received a homophobic slur. Now moving on to CancerChaser. What kind of selfish man are you? Would you steal money from charity? Do you truly believe your contributions enable you to usurp employment of others? You feel you are too important for larger projects. How much self-awareness do you truly have? Bring yourself down from our pedestal and actually look at what you have done. If you truly cared about the people you loved, then why are you cheating on others? Break up with your boyfriend before having sex with others. As far as I'm concerned, you are a horrible man who rips people off. You literally tried to steal a day from someone, a day they would pay for, and you tried to guilt-trip your victim by asking if he stopped liking you. You are not important enough to take away time like that. I cannot believe people like you exist. People like you are human versions of blood-sucking bugs. Find a host, then suck them dry. You seem to have no compassion as a human being and care solely for your means. You took advantage of someone who accepted you in his heart and let you do too much to him just for the hope that he can have good bonds with good friends. You asked him to do many favors, yet you almost never gave back. You proved that you were worthless, and he still left you in his. What did you do to finally throw you off for good? You disregarded a job he had and tried to cost him money. What a kind of sick monster do you have to be? There is no excuse for what you did. You invaded someone else and hurt him deeply with your reprehensible and reckless behavior. Never once you considered his feelings, only yours. And at the end of all, you say that you are the good friend. You are wrong. You are merely projecting. You know you are the one who never was any good to him while he helped over and over. The wording says that, but in reverse. You are truly that much of a narcissist. I bet you would rob banks and claim that the banks stole your money. Because of all your actions, now me and my fiancé will have a better chance of being judged. I was bullied for being gay growing up. I struggled my sexuality growing up. I was once assaulted for being gay. I once dated a man who pretended to be gay for a joke and left me. Growing up loving guys was hard for me. And I already get judged for being gay. I was even thrown out of 2 Arabian stores, because being gay was against the Muslim Bible. And now with your scummy behavior, we might get judged as abusive leeches as well. I seriously disown you as a gay man. You are not part of my fellowship. You are much more fitting as a mentally unstable sociopath than a homosexual. You disgrace homosexuality as a whole. You do nothing for us except bring shame. You ruin being gay for everybody.
LGBTQ communities desperately need to forsake people like CancerChaser.
I am telling it right now. The LGBTQ movement needs to keep its house in order and cast out their worst people, and their best possible choice to excommunicate is people who are in the same level as CancerChaser. CancerChaser is a manipulative, philandering creep who sexually harasses people he likes. Taken or not. He just is that creepy. But that is just scratching the surface. He goes into serious depths. How about trying to prevent others from attending their workplace through guilt tripping? He has done to that one of my best friends, and I am beyond sickened by this scummy behavior. How about all the invasive and evasive actions he has done to my friend? We are talking abusing emails, using alternative numbers, and even alternative Facebook accounts. This disgusting creeper even lives a few blocks away from his target as well. He is also a disloyal cheater as well. When he was stalking and harassing his prey, he had another boyfriend all along. This subhuman bully had manipulated my friend so well that CancerChaser was able to convince him to unblock his number. All because my friend had very little amount of friends near him. And the police was useless in this situation as well. This man has been giving homosexuals and the LGBTQ movement a bad name with his scummy, unrestrained actions. Why should CancerChaser be allowed to harass people to his liking? Imagine if instead CancerChaser being gay he was a homophobic bigot, and instead of conducting sexual harassment he was conducting homophobic harassment. This deranged deviant is a 40-year-old unhinged man who should know better, and yet he acts like a petulant child at people younger than him. And he has been a dirty liar who asks for tons of help, but never delivers all the way. Plus taking advantage of kind and generous people all the way to preventing his target from going to an important job is very clearly in the wrong. His creepiness has nothing to do with his sexual orientation. It is not that he loves the same gender romantically. It is the means he goes about his love being the problem. Keep this in mind. There is even more to this. CancerChaser simply declared his target to be his boyfriend without any knowledge or consent of the other party. I am pretty sure love does not work that way. I am pretty sure that needs to be mutual for an actual relationship to form. You cannot simply declare someone to be your boy/girlfriend. And when his target mentioned that he was taken, he did not back off and started hitting on him about his butt. This CancerChaser monster cannot even restrain himself. And he is 40. Given what I know about his posts on social media regarding his sexual experiences and how he conducts himself, I believe he actually knows better and chooses to be this intrusive and gross at people he wants in bed. And after it all fell apart for the last time, he started harassing his victim and stated that he was never a good friend to him. CancerChaser is very wrong. All he cares about is his own sexual pleasure and would do anything, including destroying other people's lives, for own desires, and only his desires matter to him. And he is obviously projecting. The favors he asks for are very easy to do, and yet he never thanked his victim for the help he received that he begged for. He has no right to say he was any good to my friend. Clearly CancerChaser is the bad friend, and there is evidence supporting that. The large amount of emails laced with attachments is proof enough that he is so full of lies. And also, for leaving halfway through a short video game segment and doing nothing with the controller, CancerChaser lied about wanting to play, which makes him an even filthier liar. Anyone who agrees with this CancerChaser is either a liar, a troll, a lover of his, or just as sociopathic as he is. The LGBTQ community needs to cut this man and anyone else loose. Having people like him around is a massive liability. He is only going to make the entire movement look bad and become ammunition for homophobic bigots to use a destructive example for LGBTQ movement and homosexuals to look as deranged as possible. CancerChaser's horrible actions hurt the LGBTQ community. And it is important to keep the house in order. Having consistent decency is very important to your cause. If CancerChaser is not forsaken, then it makes the community looks very bad. He is as helpful to the LGBTQ movement as Logan Paul is to YouTubers. Cast him out like how the Splatoon community casted out Heavy the Squid. With the rise of cancel culture, CancerChaser deserves a cancellation. If anyone deserves to be cancelled, it is creepy harassing monsters like this. People who are so selfish it costs their victims money and opportunities. Until this depraved man changes, he deserves to be alone and single for the rest of his life. This goes to literally anybody out there like him who are disgusting creepers just like that horrible sexual harassing monster known as CancerChaser. And if he treats adults this way, could you imagine what kind of sick, twisted, unspeakable actions he would do to children? He has shown that he lacks restraint, so I believe that it is entirely possible that he might try to sexually harass underage boys as well. If he cannot act with dignity with adult men and cannot restrain himself, he should never be around children.
Breaking down CancerChaser's newest harassment wave. CancerChaser, also known as CC for short, is the equivalent of the Black Plague for homosexuals. In Walharton's Club series covering CC's abusive antics, he has shown himself to be highly manipulative, abusive, selfish, and vulgar. He never holds his side of the bargain, lies constantly, takes gifts for granted, bullies people on the odd day, and constantly breaches boundaries. Which is what I will be getting into. The line crossing begins with CC demanding to stop subscribing to his channel. Which does not make any sense. Someone does not stop subscribing to channels, they unsubscribe. This order can be done by the channel itself. Just go to www.youtube.com/subscribers to find your subscribers. Visit their channel to go find who you want to remove and block them. It is that easy. No need to ask others to do it for you. He then starts showing his true colors immediately by name-calling his victim a nasty fat-ass whale. Ignoring the given that CC himself is fat and was seeking out for Walharton's Club for a relationship initially in 2016, just shows how he has to take umbrage in someone's weight to try to use an insult. Being obese has disadvantage, but given CC's deep-seated character flaws he possesses. Being obese is nothing compared to the likes of narcissism, selfishness, and sociopathy. Then right away going into the signature CancerChaser projection where he takes his own negative traits and imposes them on his target. Because sending unsolicited, unprovoked emails at his targets is apparently what non-stalkers do. He starts making claims that he saved threats received from the friends of the target and using that ironically as a threat to law enforcement. Which is obviously done as a meaningless scare tactic given that any serious crimes committed would be given straight to the authorities without warning. Then claims he knows people in the police department. Given his constant lying streak, is likely another false claim done for intimidation. Who would openly mention that exactly? And even if he did have connections like that, why even bring it up? Not to mention any policeman worth his salt would need enough evidence to have an arrest warrant. Not at CC's whim as he suggests. CC's scare streak is very evident here, which casts doubt into any of the threat being fruitful. He ends with what is my opinion, one of the most terrible cringe-inducing insults I have ever read. They don't come across as insulting but so overused that they lack any meaning. In conclusion, CancerChaser's threats are limp and impotent. Clearly he is trying his hand at harassing his target, so he tires the same stupid tricks he has done before. He is trying to intimidate his target with this overreach of boundaries. Unfortunately, it only serves to prove how much of an obsessed projecting sociopathic harasser he is. Then there is the leaps of logic that the same as he bashes in the email is the same one he could not stop talking so much about. This man is a poor, sour, scummy monster of a human being, and he needs exile more than he needs a computer with an internet connection. Seriously, fuck this guy. He is catastrophic blasphemy to homosexuality.
That is what I can find on Tumblr. Next is a mutual friend between me and Walharton's Club, who has mirrored the exposure on his blog and added his own take on the situation. Let's just say he is not too pleased about CC and will not be friendly to CC to say the least. CancerChaser, the worst monster of the LGBT community in existence. I have revived this blog to bring forth an exposure that needs to happen. Much worse than Chappie and his manic depressive friend. Someone so bad this man ruins an entire community of homosexuality. He is a disgrace to all gay people in existence. I need to air him out now. He truly deserves to be exposed. One of my best friends in the entire world who has been extremely nice to me and helped me through life has been targeted by a disgusting chubby chaser for the sake of his homosexual and intimate desires. And it is a local problem. The perpetrator lives 3 blocks away from his victim. He is known as CancerChaser.
CancerChaser kept harassing his victim until police was threatened and even then still carried out the harassment in distant periods of time. CancerChaser also asked and received a ton of help from his victim in the form of favors. Favors he never returned, except for one where he left halfway through. He also received gifts for his birthday from his victim, only for CancerChaser to state that he truly felt that his victim was never a good friend. He is pretty much a scummy leech. To act in such a disgusting way is sickening. This is horrific person. But what is worse is that CancerChaser attempted to pressure his victim into giving up his job to see him. This man's selfishness knows no bottom. You know what? Fuck this. I am done trying to keep up decorum here. Profanity is fucking warranted here. How dare he inject himself into other people's lives and do that? Yes, he fucking did that. He met his victim first and reached out to him with positivity, as a tool to coax him into getting him into his pants. And you know what's even more batshit insane? CancerChaser was cheating on his boyfriend, too. He had a boyfriend while he was trying to flirt around with my friend. So not only is CancerChaser a fucking invasive creep, but a filthy cheater. I seriously hate this man for good reason. He makes me want to be homophobic. But I will not let CancerChaser make me give in to being a bigot. By the way, CancerChaser is also a bigot, too. I cannot give certain info out, but he has been using slurs at minorities online. In my personal opinion, CancerChaser is a worse human being than the likes of Omar Mateen. Seriously, fuck this scumbag fucking monster they call CancerChaser. Fuck CancerChaser for harassing, bullying, and every single horrible fucking thing he has done to one of my best friends ever. My hatred of CancerChaser is justified. CancerChaser, go fuck yourself harder than ever possible. You are the worst gay person that has ever been born and the worst man ever conceived besides my father. People like you are the reason people hate gays. I hope your boyfriend finds out that you cheat on him and you get no more boyfriends for the rest of your fucking life. And if anybody wants to defend this fucking scumbag piece of shit, fuck you, too. You are justifying creepy harassing behavior and you should be ashamed of yourself. And finally, I will be embedding all of the blogs here to show the entire context on why CancerChaser is such a fucking travesty. And it is loaded with proof. See it for now.
Think that is harsh? You should see his response to CC's 2019 harassing hat mail.
Responding to CancerChaser's newest harassing email. CancerChaser has decided to send another fucking email at my friend, because he has no fucking life. 1. Who the fuck is subscribed to this fuck? He has no videos up. He does have 22 subscribers, but I can guarantee nobody in their right fucking mind would subscribe to a channel with no fucking content. And definitely not my friend, let alone myself. All it is just subscriptions, liked videos, and playlist. No actual content. At all. 2. Nasty fat ass whale? Normally I would get offended over fat shaming, but coming from CancerChaser, fuck. He has no leg to stand on. First of all, he is obese and yet he was once really skinny. So he had a transformation where he gained tons of weight. Epic fail. Also, who is the one who felt attracted to the body size? CC was the one who started hitting on my friend here. And I know about the time CC wanted his ass once. And now hates call him a nasty whale? What does that make CC? A nasty whale fucker, that's what. 3. My friend never interacted with the whale fucker in over a year. Also, all neighbors must be stalkers by whale fucker's logic. 4. What threats? This whale fucker is bluffing. Ironically making threats. How about engaging the people making the threats? He should engage me, that fucking whale fucking coward. 5. Love how he claims to know the police department and brag about it. If they're on the palm of his hand, the email can be leaked for scandal. But I think he is lying out his whale fucking us. 6. Better watch yourself. Threatening with threats received and not go to cops directly. By the way, the insult is weak and he is just trying to intimidate and failing miserably. CancerChaser is a fucking moron. Who sends emails like this? He just asking to get exposed. He clearly is still Asher, because he got his ass dumped for trying cost people money and opportunities for a satisfaction of his scummy promiscuous whale fucking ass. Also, you cannot be engaging if you are being threatened and harassed because the police cannot take that seriously if you were to do that. He is fooling nobody, and if he did have connections he would keep a fucking secret. This man is a fucking virus. Awaiting more harassment from CC to tear down like I did with this one.
I asked certain people on Facebook their views on CancerChaser, and I have received several good opinion pieces. CancerChaser is a complete selfish sociopath. As a homosexual myself, I feel disgusted that I have the same sexuality as him. What he does sickens me, and I have witnessed sexual assault. This man has the audacity to manipulate his friends over and over with no regard for their needs, and then say he was the one who was a good friend, and claim his victim was never good enough. That is so wrong in so many levels. He received present and a nice birthday card, and he still has the balls to pull this disgusting act? Very scummy shit. He is so unbelievable in so many ways. And his projection is crazy. Gives off a good indication that he knows he is doing fucked up things and yet claims he is the victim of what in reality is what he puts through others. He needs to be exposed, and he needs to be a known LGBT queer infamous creeper. And he deserves to be alone until the day he dies for hurting people, because I just know CancerChaser has victimized many people before the victim who came out. Nobody deserves CancerChaser as a boyfriend. He filthy scum and in the same league as sexual predator who typically targets and grooms minors. I am very surprised people have not paid any attention to his atrocities despite my efforts of sharing this all over Facebook. He is also a massive habitual liar, too. And the nearby police of CancerChaser and his victim are incompetent as hell. I bet they are just as corrupt as the one in Minneapolis. I seriously hate creepers like CancerChaser, and I will never rest until he faces the consequences he deserves. He gives homosexuals and chubby chaser like us a horrible name as if it was a slur. Here is the next one. I had to censor identifying information as the original text gives away the real name of CC.
This disgusting pervert, CancerChaser, is one of the worst people I have ever seen, and by far the worst gay person I have seen. Just because he has a crush on someone does not mean they are in a relationship. His selfishness knows no bounds. In fact, he might not actually selfish, but driven by lust, and he is willing to hurt as many people as hard as possible just to service his lust. That is very wrong of him to do, and makes me fucking sick that he needs to try to override crucial important matters. He thinks his lust is the most important priority everyone around him has to deal with, when that is wrong. You have to be a massive asshole to pull that shit on people. I cannot have any sympathy towards him based on all the bullshit he has put people through, especially his target. Manipulating kind and generous people. He makes me sick. He deserves to get exposed for everything he has done. I also heard he has said some fucked up shit about racial minorities, too. What an all-around scumbag. And I've heard people have been enabling him. Anyone who enables CC and his scummy behavior is no different than him. They are supporting and championing a perverted stalking monster's lust and don't deserve any justice either. CC and people that support him are the fucking worst.
Those were wonderful testimonies. Thank you for your respective contributions. And last but not least, you may recall AA from Chapter 8 of CancerChaser. Here is his thoughts on CC as whole. He has hired Monkey Jones on Fiverr as a voice to express his views. I have edited the audio to redact and replace out CC's real name from the original raw audio. CancerChaser
is a self-righteous prick who only likes men for their bodies. He has no fucking regard for anyone's obligations such as appointments or work. He also has no self-restraint and resorts to harassment. He is a disgrace to gay men everywhere. Fuck
CancerChaser
easily the worst friend ever.
Thank you to everyone who has agreed to share their testimonies to bring the horrible harassing creeper known as CancerChaser's justice.
(2023) Update. My life is much different from the days of 2016 and 2017. Those days were pretty dark with my depressed mood along with being hurt and exploited by CC. But these past few years after 2021 were amazing. A far cry from the likes of Chapter 5 and 6 era and the Chapter 8 era, even more for sure. I have received the support I desperately wanted in the mid-2010s and very grateful to have that. I also made some new good friends as well. I even had feelings for a few men and hang around with one particular one very much and loved being in his presence. Not only is he a good person unlike CC, but his looks outclass CC by at least 5 points. As for CC, wherever he appeared, I would not say a word to him. Keep a large distance away from him, and observe him while I keep expanding the gap until we are not even readably viewable. If he would spot me, he would turn his head at me often with a negative expression at me that seems to be a mix of strong anger and for some reason apparent fear. One day I was at a bench and CC walked by. I didn't notice him until he was a few feet away from me. I immediately got up and started walking away until he started speaking me about how I keep talking so much crap about him on the internet. I didn't respond and kept observing him. I took off as he was walking away. He was not specific with what he was talking about. If he is not talking about this blog, then there's no reason for him to saying anything like that to me. Last time, he claimed I was subscribed to his channel and I sent him threats, which is not true. He has demonstrated himself to be a liar and a consistent harasser who was vulgar to me, all because I was tired of his abuse and didn't let him force me to quit my job. Unless it is about the CC blog. He is just doing the harassment rounds because he is dealing some unknown problem and lashing out at me out of convenience. Typical low-life behavior of him. If he is talking about the Cancer Chaser blog, he reaps what he sowed. His abuse was revolting. He cannot honestly believe that he can try to change someone else's life and priorities because he says so or say all kinds of nasty and hurtful messages in response while expecting no consequence. What he did in late September 2017 was very wrong objectively, and what he did in response and more weeks later was even worse. Just because the police wouldn't bother with CC does not make his actions any right. On the internet there is controversy over anything slightly disagreeable. Does he honestly expect that he would actually get away with all the abuse he did to me, especially the claims that I was never good to him? His nastiness would naturally be returned back to him, as that is how he treated me. What goes around comes around. He is the one who instigated the situation with his attacks. It is natural that there would be a response. CC is not powerful enough to properly quash me, and what he did was justified for him to be exposed. Like in Chapter 3. E-begging is considered a massive crime and is often taken like a felony to the point that people have been cancelled for asking for money on the internet. Back in the same time period of Chapter 4. There was a scandal that surrounded a Switch launch line involving a man who ran a GoFundMe campaign for flight money and was attacked viciously by a community over the lack of transparency along with several other factors. Said person who was targeted even has the same sexual orientation as CC. Much more recently, a YouTuber known as Illuminati has been exposed for her massive amounts of abuse that she inflicted at the people that worked under her as well as her ex-boyfriend. CC deserved to be attacked on the internet for what he did. Given his horrible behavior, it is only natural he would receive hateful negativity returned to him one way or another. Although, I do not condone the death threats at CC. It is just that CC would be receiving blowback. Whether indirectly or directly. His heavily abusive bullying through phone and email makes him a wretched, virulent person, especially in the context of his selfish desires he pushed on me. He doesn't like it? Too bad. He should have never been so nasty after he screwed up badly by interfering with my job schedule. It's called accountability. He needed to understand that in his formative years and yet nearly middle-aged he still has the mindset of a spoiled child, while acting like one at a younger adult. This blog wouldn't happen if he just simply stopped talking to me, instead breaking boundaries. If he feels he can just violate said personal boundaries, he has to accept the repercussions that would happen. The world does not revolve around him. People his age are naturally expected to have accountability. Hopefully I hope to never have to talk about CC ever again. I really want to move on.